Good morning, YouTubers. This is a little update on Dutch buckets, and we're looking at a Super Sweet 100 tomato plant right here. You can see that I let it go into two vines from a single stem, and this is to allow it to increase production. It's like having two plants, and the bucket seems to do fine, and the little tiny hose supplying the nutrients seems to do fine. Let's just take a look at some of the fruit on this plant, because what's more important than producing fruit? Anyway, you can see just about all the way up this thing is making tomatoes, and yeah, they're small, but that's when you put on a lot of them, that's what matters. Wait a minute, is that my chimney? Yeah, that's the chimney on my house. And that board right there is a 2x6. It's 9 feet tall. You can see that tomato is just a few inches from being there. And I'll have to start letting this Super Sweet 100 down soon. Probably another week is about its maximum amount of time. The main thing I noticed yesterday was so many of the different varieties have started turning color. So yesterday was ripe tomato day, ripening tomato day, because they'd all been green up until yesterday, and they just all seem to start turning. There's one just beginning to yellow from the bright green stage. My goodness, look at that big old tomato. And so these Dutch buckets are doing the job. Sure do enjoy seeing the fruit of my labor, and I know a lot of people besides me are going to enjoy tomatoes off of these plants. Look at this fellow right here. I believe that's a Rutgers, and oh my goodness, look at this big old boy. That's a big tomato. So got kind of lazy. See, there's a couple of lids I misplaced and had to buy a couple more buckets with lids, $2. And you can see the what do you call it, algae growth on top right here where it didn't get any sun. It gets plenty of nutrients, but that doesn't seem to bother anything. There's one bubbling right now. You can see it going away. But typically when I put that little line in, I poke about 4 holes with the little same tool that you use to poke a hole in the main line. Anyway, I poked a few holes in there. It still seems to come out the end and rather than those holes, so it didn't seem to matter that much. But anyway, I started saving some of my suckers and looking toward fall and winter time, when hopefully I'm going to build a but I just couldn't keep up with all the different varieties and trying to root these things. And you can see this one got a nice set of roots on it, and I just couldn't keep up with them all, so I started just putting a little container of water there and leaving them where they can be identified. And this one is a big beef, so that allows me to come along and grab that tomato plant. I've given several to other people, and but it allows me to keep it identified just by leaving it right where I cut it off. And so it seems to be working. There's one right over here on this earth box. My goodness, it had all kinds of roots and stuff in it. But anyway, that's something as simple as that can keep you going on into the fall and winter if you've got a greenhouse. And that's kind of what I plan to do, is take cuttings off a lot of these. But we still tomorrow is predicted to hit 100 degrees here in Arkansas, and as you can see, these are still blooming. I don't know what these hot temperatures are going to do to us, but these were planted a little later and seem to be still blooming profusely. Still, they're setting fruit and looking good. Trying to think, this is my only Brandywine bucket. I've got 2 plants of the Brandywine variety. Don't know if it's the pink or red one, it didn't say, but heard good things about it and just wanted to give it another shot. Got one yellow tomato, and it seems to be flourishing as well. These homemade buckets tend to have a little problem, especially in this particular color. I don't even remember the brand of these. Some of them were Rubbermaid totes, but the plastic seemed to be a little bit lighter and not as strong. So I've had to tape these up, and you can still see water seeping away from the bucket. So it may have a hole in the bottom, or maybe the patch job didn't work so well. But got a little bit of okra going over here, and man, that's a big old leaf. And it seems to be very happy. Sorry about my throat. But anyway, that's kind of a little update. Main change I've made is that these things are just eating so much water and nutrients solution. Oh, take a look at the bell peppers. Yeah, they're happy. And I picked a couple off of these, but man, that one's just loaded. Much more than this one, but it's got lots of little bitty ones on it. The jalapenos, let's take a look in here. Anybody like those hot peppers? I do, because you can cut that seeds and the white superstructure from the inside of that, and it's almost identical to a bell pepper if you could do that. Most people wouldn't believe that if they heard it. But yesterday I was out here digging, trying to get this second tote. That's a 27-gallon general tote from Lowe's. And as you can see, there's my original one with the return lines, and one little old tiny $20 pump down there. Just kicked on a little bit ago on a timer. Comes on 3 times a day. I did have to extend the time from 1 hour to an hour and a half because the last tomato on the system, the last tomato was wilting slightly, and I knew it just wasn't getting enough nutrients. So yeah, I give them all an extra drink just so that one can get enough. But you can see the freshness and newness of this new bucket. I had a lot of embedded rock, and I live on a hill with a bunch of rock, and so anyway, I needed more nutrients. This is the way I hooked up the nutrient tank to the other one, rather than do a float valve and some kind of arrangement. This is what I used right here, one of these grommets from the Dutch bucket and a piece of 1/2-inch PVC tubing. I simply drilled a hole in both of my totes, and then I put a piece of pipe in there that's about 8 or 9 inches long between the bottom of the 2 buckets. So I was real careful to get this in level, and to work hard on that grommet. My wife's leaving. Anyway, real careful to get that level, and then get the grommet properly installed. And it was a struggle standing upside down on my head. But anyway, seems to be working well. We're still on a timer 3 times a day, about an hour and a half. And bye, dear. See you later. Oh, you're going for your teeth. Okay, see ya. Bye-bye. So that's here's how I drilled the hole, by the way. Little tool on the end of my, forgot my drill out last night. But I had intended to do some other way to hook it up, but this should give me a little more freedom to not be so concerned about running out of nutrients, because I've come by several times with this thing sucking air, and that's not a good feeling when you have plants that are depending on you supplying them nutrients 24/7. And so this is a little update. Like I said, and things are going well. Couldn't be happier with Dutch buckets. And anyway, hope you're doing well, and your garden is growing, and would love to hear from some of you. Please feel free to subscribe and or make a comment, and if you have any questions, I'd be happy to answer those. Thanks a lot. Appreciate you watching. Bye-bye.